Hello, all. Welcome to another new day. Let us go ahead and meet another brave and interesting personality from the Annals of Indian History under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series from Momish of Musings. Yesterday, we met the warrior queen from Maratha Empire, Tarabai, isn't it? Today, let's move up towards the northern part of India, especially the northwestern side, and go to Rajasthan. The moment I say Rajasthan, most of you would be thinking about the Rajput kings, right? The first Rajput king, whom we all know so much and we had read and seen a lot of movies about, is Maharana Pratap Singh, isn't it? But what about the people other than Maharana Pratap? Do you remember any other Rajput king whom you have read about? Or do you recollect anything from the history books who speaks about other Rajput kings other than Maharana Pratap? Unfortunately, no, isn't it? But thanks to the recent movie Padmavat, we all got to know one Raval king, Raval, Raval king, who from Chittorgarh, especially from the Mewar region, isn't it? So, is there any other link, or is there any other king who is brave, or who has ruled the entire Rajasthan or the Mewar area? Come, let us find out. Let us move to 13th century now to meet this interesting personality uh, called Maharana Hammir Singh Sisodia. Before I talk about who this Maharana Hammir Singh, or why he is being called Maharana Hammir Singh instead of Maharana, as we all think that Maharana Pratap Singh is the only person whom we all call Maharana. I want to talk to you about the importance of the Mewar region. We all know that around 1000 first century onwards, there was a lot of Turkish invasion that was happening in India, and Delhi Sultanate was mainly handled by Turkish people like Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, and a lot of other folks. Our hero Maharana Hamir Singh is the one who has put an full stop to the Turkish invasion in India. Surprising, isn't it? Now, in the entire Rajasthan, Mewar is one of the most important areas. Mewar is the one which is being seen in the blue color here, because for Delhi Sultanate to reach to Gujarat and access the port cities, Mewar has become a very crucial part. That provides them the shortest distance from Delhi to the Gujarat port cities, various port cities at that point of time. So all the Delhi Sultanate, all the Turkish kings who are coming at that point of time and trying to establish their supremacy in Delhi Sultanate were trying to occupy Mewar. And that is the reason why we have this brave war that happened in the Chittorgarh fort, which is being seen here, between Alauddin Khilji and Rawal Ratan Singh. And thanks to our Padmavat movie, we all know about the story and the Johar that has been done by the beautiful queen Rani Padmavati at that time in 13th century, isn't it? The Johar well is still being seen in the Chittorgarh fort even today. And this is the place where Rani Padmavati had taken Sati along with 12,000 other Rajput queens. So now, most we all think that after Raval Ratan Singh, there is an end to the Raval dynasty in the Mewar kingdom, and the Chittorgarh fort is down, has become an orphan with no ancestors of Raval Ratan Singh, because he is killed in the Chittorgarh war along with his queen Rani Padmavati, right? But you think our kings and earlier kings and queens were so foolish to leave their fort as an orphan? No, my dear friends, that's not the case. Raval Ratan Singh Ji is also a visionary. And he, along with his council of ministers, were always thinking about the future, were always thinking about their people, subjects of in the Mewar region. And he's a very well-known, famous ruler at that point of time in 13th century. So He, along with his another uncle, Lashman Singh Ji, had already made a plan. Lashman Singh Ji had two sons, Ari Singh and Ajay Singh. At that point of time, in 1303, when Alauddin Khilji had come to invade Rawal Ratan Singh Ji in the Chittorgarh fort, Hammir Singh was just a 1 year old child. Same is the case with Sajjan Singh. Both of them are, they have only couple of months difference between both of them. So in case our Rawal Ratan Singh Ji and Lashman Singh Ji has decided and devised a plan saying like in case if they get defeated under Alauddin Khilji, then they should ensure that their next successors, that is Hamid Singh and Sajjan Singh, should be hidden safely away from the Alauddin Khilji. So what they've done, they've asked their brother, Ajay Singh, to take away both these two kids into the dense forests of the Mewar region and safeguard them. And in fact, there is one small story about Hamir Singh's birth here too. Ari Singh never married a Rajput lady at that point of time. He married a commoner by name Urmila. You must be wondering why I'm telling about this story, right? Ari Singh had gone out for hunting, and there he met in a forest one beautiful lady, Urmila. How he met her? When Ari Singh was going for hunting, he was attacked by a lion, a fearful lioness, in fact, who was trying to safeguard her cubs. At that point of time, Urmila saved Ari Singh with just a knife in her hand, and she killed that lioness in a single go. So, seeing Urmila's bravery and beauty, Ari Singh fell head over heels in love with Urmila, and so he got married to Urmila, much against the wishes of their elders. But still, the Rajput clan adopted Urmila as their daughter-in-law and gave her all the royal treatments that were possible at that point of time. Now, coming back to our main story, Ajay Singh fled on a horse, taking both these infants along with him to the jungles. And then in 1303, the Chittorgarh fort fell down to Alauddin Khilji, and things started going haywire. People of Mewar, in fact, also thought that there is no proper king for them to take care of their future. So they were also lost. They didn't know what to do. And Chittorgarh fort was totally under dacoit rule. And thugs, dacoits, and everybody was kind of going around looting the people, the common peasants, everybody. At that time, the most well-known dacoit is Munja Balicha. You can see he used to go on attacking one village after the other village without any care. And he used to take ladies as the prisoners. He used to take infants and convert them into dacoits. He used to take loot all the money, riches from the people. Then, when Ajay Singh Ji was training Hamir Singh and Sajjan Singh, when the moment these kids reached certain age, he told them that whoever gets me the Munja Balicha's head will become the future probable heir for the Chittorgarh fort. So he gave them both the equal chance to both to Sachin Singh and Hamir Singh. You know, and before that, in fact, he trained all these people on the guerrilla warfare, Rajput military skills, and sword fighting and everything. Okay. And in fact, he also taught them about the Chanakya Ardhashastra, because that time itself Chanakya has written Ardhashastra. He started teaching all the Ardhashastra principles, and he had told them that the person, the king, will win the war with mind, not with the physical strength alone. There are people who had done that, and he's given a lot of examples of that. So Hamir Singh is the one who has got Ajay Singh the head of Munja Balicha. The moment Munja Balicha was defeated, the people of Mewar have started noticing, taking note of this Hamir Singh, his bravery, and his how he found peace as a gentleman. In the meantime, after Alauddin Khilji attacked Chittorgarh, he has put Maldev, again from the Rawal clan, as the local administrator of Chittorgarh fort. But unfortunately, Raval was never being accepted by the people of Mewar as their king, because they have seen Raval Ratan Singh, who is the finest administrator, as a king, right? So they couldn't see the traitor Maldev as the next possible heir of Raval Singh Ji. So they were always giving him a very hard time. And on the other side, Hamid Singh is growing up in popularity, isn't it? But before we come back to Hamid Singh's story, I want to talk to you about Sajjan Singh. We all knew that Sajjan Singh couldn't get Balisha's head, right? So immediately, Ajay Singh ji sent uh, Sajjan Singh to move away from Rajasthan to go down south. And Sajjan Singh obeyed Ajay Singh's words, and he moved down to South India. Had he not moved, maybe there would have been another twist in the history of India altogether. Because you know where Sajjan Singh moved? Surprise of surprise. He's moved to Maratha Empire at that point of time. And he is the forefather of Shivaji Maharaj. Now you understood from where Shivaji Maharaj got the bravery? Some historians agree that Shivaji Maharaj is associated to this Raval clan or Suryavamshi clan. Some historians deny that, but whatever may be the history, there are tales which indicate the connection of Sajjan Singh to Shivaji Maharaj. So here in South India, we got one brave king, Shivaji Maharaj, and here in Northern India, we got our bravest king, Hamid Singh. So Hamid Singh started gaining popularity in Mewar region, isn't it? Then this Maldev, who is administrator of Khilji in the Chittorgarh fort, had planned a coup. He has a daughter by name Songri Bai. And you know what? He sent a marriage proposal of Songri Bai to Hamid Singh. So then Hamid Singh was not very much willing, but he always wanted to go and occupy Chittorgarh fort, take away the position of Chittorgarh fort from Maldev. So he went and asked his mentor Ajay Singh as to what he can do, and Ajay Singh knew something else. Okay, but which he didn't share it to Hammir Singh Sisodia at that point of time. He told Hammir Singh that go ahead and get married to Songri Bai. So Hammir Singh had gone along with his trusted aides, and Ajay Singh had gone to get Chittorgarh fort to get married to Songri Bai. The moment he saw Chittorgarh fort, there is a lot of turmoil that started happening in his heart. He heard so many stories of Raval Ranjit Singh and Queen Padmavati, their bravery, the way Chittorgarh fort was lost from their hands to Alauddin Khilji, and how Alauddin Khilji had tortured all the common man, including the kings, queens, everybody from the Mewar region, and all that stuff. His eyes are filled up with tears and emotions. He felt that he made a promise to himself that he will become king of Chittorgarh once again and bring Mewar to its prominence and give all its lost glory to Mewar and Chittorgarh fort. So he went and got married to Songri Bai. Their first night happened, and that's the time when Songri Bai divulged a secret which Ajay Singh knew, but he didn't tell Hammir Singh. So before I tell you that secret, I want to ask you one question. Do you know who is the first man who started advocating on the widow remarriage in India? I all know. You guys are very big fans of history, and you tell it's none other Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. No, my dear friends, that didn't happen in 19th century. It started in 13th century itself. Our hero, Hammir Singh Sisodia, is the first person in India known as per the historical records, is the first person in India who married a widow, child widow. Our Songri Bai is a child widow, and that fact has been hidden by Maldev, the cunning Maldev, from his own trusted family members and other people, because he wanted to use Songri Bai as a pawn for his political expansions. Remember, I told you in yesterday's story also, at that time, in the Indian history, most of the marriages used to happen either for their political to strengthen their political ambitions or to occupy certain areas or clans. They should do perform these marriages. So Songri Bai was used as a pawn to entice Hammir Singh Sisodia uh, by Maldev. Maldev thought that if Hammir Singh Sisodia becomes his son-in-law, then he will not think of occupying Chittorgarh fort, and his danger can be avoided for him. But there he misunderstood or miscalculated the thinking power of Ajay Singh and Hammir Singh Sisodia. The moment Hammir Singh got to know about this fact that Songri Bai is a child widow, he got really shocked and he kept quiet and he started thinking. Then, after a certain time, he asked Songri Bai as to what are her thoughts about why she got married to Hammir Singh Sisodia and what she should be doing for the motherland. Songri Bai, no, as the child itself is more inclined towards motherland, and she's a typical Rajput princess. She's filled with, devotion for motherland, devotion for their own clan, and stuff like that. She didn't like her father's actions. But being a girl born in the Rajput family, she didn't have much say at that point of time. She said, I will obey you, my dear husband, and I'll become a true warrior Rajput princess. I will support you and I'll fulfill your dream of conquering Chittorgarh fort from my father. So then Hammi Singh Sisodia said, then tell me who is the most trusted minister who is very clever, cunning, and knows in and out of Chittorgarh in your father's council of ministers. Then Songri Bai mentioned that it's none other Jaldev Singh Ji. So Hammi Singh Sisodia asked Maldev as a parting gift after the wedding to give him the hands of Jaldev. So Jaldev became a trusted aide for Hammi Singh Sisodia after that. So Hammi Singh Sisodia, Jaldev, and Songri Bai had created a wonderful coup to take over not only Chittorgarh fort but also the other region, other fort of Maldiv. They had driven away Maldiv within a span of 1 year from Chittorgarh. And the day Hammi Singh Sisodia announced himself as the king of Chittorgarh fort, that's the day when he adopted the title Maharana Hammir Singh Sisodia. The moment actually Maharana means in Rajaputani that he is the chief minister for the king. But since after Hammir Singh Sisodia adopted the title Maharana, it became a symbol for the bravery. And that, in fact, that day was celebrated in all of the entire Mewar region as more, in a more elaborate fashion and in a more festival, joyful manner than Diwali. People in Mewar region still remember the day when Maharana Hammir Singh Sisodia had declared himself as the king of Chittorgarh. So then Maharana Singh Sisodia started taking the entire other parts of Mewar region into his control. The news reached to, and that's the time when Alauddin Khilji had died because of his ill health. And Muhammad bin Tughlaq had taken the Delhi Sultanate as a successor of Alauddin Khilji. Muhammad bin Tughlaq is also known to be a most cruelest and most silliest or foolhardy king of Delhi Sultanate at that point of time. And we all know a lot of stories of his foolhardiness floating around in the Indian history, right? So the moment Muhammad bin Tughlaq took over the Delhi Sultanate, he tried occupying China, he tried occupying Kashmir, he went all of the northern part of India and got defeated all over the places. And then with that anger in his mind, he came back to Delhi and realized that this Maharana Hammir Singh is growing up his prominence, gaining more popularity, and he's trying to occupy more and more areas in not only Mewar, but the entire Rajasthan and down south as well, Gujarat and other areas as well. So he got really furious and he told his people to start marching ahead to Mewar and occupy Chittorgarh once again. Because at least he thought that he should control the Gujarat ports. So that then only he can become a stable king in the Delhi Sultanate. So his troops started marching. And as you all see, from Delhi, the direct route is reached the Bilwara region. And that's the monsoon time. Lord, heavy rains were falling, thick forest, everything. I already told you, right? Our Hammir Singh is also an expert in guerrilla warfare. He's also an expert of the mental wars. I mean, how he can win wars using his mental powers. He's also an expert in the cavalry. He's also an expert in the horse fighting, sword fighting, isn't it? But Muhammad bin Tughlaq underestimated this guy, our hero. So when he entered the Bilwara forest range, all the soldiers who were coming by foot, coming on the elephants, coming on the horses, and foot was following them from behind in other vehicles, the carts, black carts, and all those things. Our Maharana Hammir Singh's trusted army people, battalions, are also the tribals of Bilwara region. They slowly and stealthily cut away all the food trucks, food cars that are coming behind the soldiers. And in no other villages and route, the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's army soldiers were given food or shelter. Slowly, the soldiers were getting tired. Walking all the way up from Delhi here to Bilwara is not an easy task in those days, isn't it, my dear friends? They don't have trains or aeroplanes to come down directly, immediately, isn't it? They were getting tired. But Muhammad bin Tughlaq, in his foolhardiness, said, I have more warriors, I have more army battalions, I have more number of elephants, more number of horses. What does this Hammir Singh have? Hardly some 10,000 people in his hand, less cavalry when compared to me, less horses, less elephants. I can easily defeat him in the Chittorgarh fort and repeat the history which my father Alauddin Khilji had, forefather Alauddin Khilji had created in Chittorgarh fort. That was a far-fetched dream for Muhammad bin Tughlaq. He thought the war will be only from the high walls of the fort, from the Chittorgarh. That was a grave mistake which Muhammad bin Tughlaq has done. He started losing the war right in the Bilwara region itself. The day he went to Chittorgarh, it became evening actually that day. He said, okay, friends, let us all rest for tonight and tomorrow morning, as soon as the sun's rays touch down the earth, we'll start attacking Chittorgarh. And with the minimum number of soldiers and the cavalry which this Hammir Singh has, we can easily attack, conquer Chittorgarh fort within a day or two max. But the day never ended for Muhammad bin Tughlaq. That's the day when Muhammad bin Tughlaq was being brought down to his knees by our hero Maharana Hammir Singh Ji. That day night, again using the guerrilla warfare techniques, Hammir Singh Ji's soldiers went and got mixed up within the Muhammad bin Tughlaq's army battalion and started attacking them in the middle of the night. And they got the entire Muhammad bin, and they started attacking entire army battalion of the Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Those soldiers who are already tired, weak, and all hungry didn't know from which side the enemy is attacking them. Who is the enemy? Because enemies are all dressed in black color. They were all getting mixed up in the dark nights that time. And finally, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was brought down to knees and got captured by Hammir Singh. He was put in prison in Chittorgarh, the very same fort which he thought he can conquer, just like his forefather Alauddin Khilji, for 3 months. Then Delhi Sultanate started negotiating with Hammir Singh for the release of Muhammad bin Tughlaq. It took them almost 3 months for the constant negotiations. And finally, Muhammad bin Tughlaq was being released by our Maharana Hammir Singh Ji on a condition that he should give 5 million tanakas. Imagine 5 million tanakas, which is a very huge sum in the 13th century. Look at the heaps of the golden tanakas that are being poured down from the bags by the Delhi Sultanate in front of Muhammad Hammir Singh Ji. Along with that, 100 and odd elephants, 500 odd horses, and the other Jami land and the other kingdoms like Ajmer, Ranthambore, Nagaur, Sisodia. And so Hammir Singh Ji had spread his wings to entire Rajasthan area. And even in those days, the news used to travel from one corner of India to other corners of India, my dear friends. Hearing the defeat and the way Muhammad bin Tughlaq has been brought to shame in down southern part of India, Harihar Raya Bukkala and Rai Raya Bukkala. These are the people who started revolting against Muhammad bin Tughlaq and started establishing Vijayanagara Empire. So, one battle has started the entire decline of the Turkish invasion in India. That is how the Turkish had to move away from India in shame because no other kings of the have started accepting their supremacy. And the thing didn't stop there, my dear friends. The story didn't stop there. After Maharana Hammir Singh Sisodia, the Turkish or the Mughal people started attacking Rajasthan and the Mewar region once again to gain control. But there are so many other prominent brave kings who started coming as the offsprings of our Maharana Hammir Singh Sisodia. The most famous person of all, about whom we have read a lot, is our Maharana Pratap Singh. So, my dear friends, do you all understand why the history had collected so much dust on the Maharana Hammir Singh's chapter? When I read his story, when I heard about his story from the various historians and the historical books where I'm researching, I started getting doubts. Is it because he's the first person to start the widow remarriages that Hammir Singh's history got erased from our history books? Or is it because he's restored the glory of Mewar nation and started giving encouragement and support to other Hindu kings who started revolting against the Turkish invasion and Mughal invasions? We never know. Our history, all the stories which we have seen so far, have started reiterating only one fact, that the history which we are reading currently of India has got accumulated a lot of dust. Under that dust lies so many brave kings and brave warriors who have changed the entire course of Indian history. Without them, we wouldn't have been in the position today. It's not only about the freedom fighters, my dear friends. There are so many kings, queens, the common people, the kids who are instrumental in changing the way India's history is today. So come, let us go ahead and start dusting a few more pages from the Indian history and find out who the true warriors are, who the true legends are in this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav story series from Momish Musings. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Take care, friends.